Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tisha. I run this channel, I'm Living My Life. And today I am speaking with Mr. Seion Gomez. You may know him as the arranger for NLCB Buccooneers in Tobago, as well as court song specialist of Laventille and maybe other um, pan sites. So I'm not sure if anyone is on the stream, but I just want to make sure that you can hear and see both me and Sion. If anyone is on, can you please let me know that you have visual and audio? Let me see. Okay, so it looks like we have 7 people on. Could I just get confirmation that you're hearing and seeing? Yes, okay, I got a confirmation. So, Sion, thanks again for taking the time to chat with us about UTT Panorama. But before we get into all of that, could you just give the audience a background, well, your background, for those of you who do not know you, uh, musically and your role with UTT?
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Tish.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
My name is Seion Gomez. I am, first of all, at UTT. I'm an assistant professor of music at the University of Trinidad and Tobago. And on the social side, I am one of the steel band arrangers. Recently, with NLCB Buccooneers, chord song specialist of Laventille, on the Panorama side, the Panorama aspect. I've been playing pan since 9 years old.
Wow.
I went through the ranks, Junior Panorama, Junior Festival, Music Festival, Senior Panorama, Senior Festival, and now I'm at the tertiary level education teaching. So I have a little bit of experience. So I'm here.
Yes. Thank you. Good afternoon to everyone who's now joining in and saying good afternoon. So, Sion, I know that this UTT Panorama, especially like the APA program, it focuses more on arranging. And, well, I think you will explain it a bit further. But how did you get into arranging?
I was part of Phase 2 Pan Groove growing up. My father was a member. And of course, I'll be a youth run around the Panyard. And eventually I started playing. And Boogsy Sharp fascinated me. His method of arranging, standing in the middle of a steel band and calling notes, not even touching an instrument. At that time, that fascinated me. And I was like, I want to do that, And I mean, that too, I was really into the steel pan. I really like the steel pan. So I started to do things towards arranging, doing little arrangements here and there. I was asked first of all, my alma mater, primary school, they were one of the first, if not the first, primary school to have a steel ensemble at the school. They built their own pan theater. They had instruments. And on an afternoon, Miss Lorraine Grandison, who was a music teacher then, she would have students in the afternoon. my grandmother lived right down the street from the school. So I would be hearing the parents playing. So of course, the Jambi would send and call you. And I would go up the street and just hang around the room, just listening and watching, you know. And eventually she asked me to, if I would like to, you know, help her with these students. And that turned into me doing some arrangements for the school. And we started entering little competitions. We had a nice little stage side. We went into the festival, the junior festival, where they would have won their category, which is the primary school category. And then we went into Panorama, the junior Panorama, primary school students. At that time, there was not primary school category, it was just junior Panorama. You know, and they did fairly okay. And from there, I started working with different little stage sides. They see and come and do a little tune for us now, yeah. And, you know, I had people who were really supportive. Well, not to mention my parents, but, you know, people on the outside, people like Michelle Huggins Watts. You know, she gave me a little opportunity while she was arranging for Power Stars. You know, there are different little people who would have given me the opportunity. And from there, I took strides. Eventually, I went to Northern Illinois University, where I did my first degree. While I was there, Mr. Richard Forto, as Secretary of Pan Trinidad, he came to visit NIU. He and two other people came to visit NIU. And they would have heard one of my arrangements being played. And right there, he asked me if I could come home. When I come home, if I could come and do a couple of tunes for his band. And well, the rest is history. I started working with them in 1998 or 99, somewhere around there. You know, and I worked with them for Panorama for some years. Then I left and went back to NIU and did my master's. And came back home, started working UTT, started arranging for steel bands again. You know, I went back to song specialists. I worked with Maritone Steel Orchestra. I worked with Scrunter's Pan Groove. I worked with a few other steel bands. You know, but I would have gained a lot of experience, and over the years, you know, and you would figure out different little things as you go along, you know. So I think the little knowledge that I would have gained, whether at school or in the panyards, you know, I think it's my duty now to pass on that information, whatever little it is, you know. And along with others at UTT, I think we're doing a remarkable job.
I agree. So for those of you who may not have seen some coverage that I did right before Christmas, I did cover one of APA's Academy for Performing Arts from UTT, their show called Pan Ascension. And it was a show that showcased classical music and some jazz music with pan and other instruments. And it was a fantastic show. So if you haven't seen it, you could check it out. But for those who are not familiar about the APA program, Seion, could you just give an overview of that?
Well, the University of Trinidad and Tobago would have different campuses. And the campus that we are at, the Academy for the Performing Arts, is exactly that. It's a program, a Bachelor of Fine Arts program within the performing arts. So in our building, we have music. And within the music, we have concentrations in different instruments, steel pan, guitar, brass instruments, percussion, We have a dance element, we have acting element, we have a theater arts element where students actually learn how to manage a stage and lighting and sound. We have a DMA program, right? Digital media arts, animation. So it's a wide, uh, it touches a wide variety of within the performing arts, you know. So I mean, we have a lot of students who come in and do these different programs, and I think, well, I don't think, I know for sure, it is helping socially on the outside, because a lot of our students are going out there and dealing with, you know, they are actually working within their field and doing a marvelous job, doing a great job, you know. So we are actually, you know, we are dedicated to improving our culture step by step.
Thanks. So, with respect to steel pan, is steel pan a mandatory instrument within the program, or students have the choice to like focus on or specialize in whatever instrument that they want to undertake?
Well, students come in, they would choose their specialization. So they would come in, some would choose pan, and that's the instrument they use throughout the program. Some would use violin, some some would, but the voice, we have a voice studio also, you know. So they choose their program, and once they come into the program, the instrument that they choose to specialize in, that's the instrument that they use for the 4 years.
Okay, so it's 4 years. And um, what opportunities do students have, one, while they're in the program, in their 4 year course at school, as well as after they're graduated?
Well, within the program, while going to school, students would, we have every semester there's a in the semester concert. There are concerts happening within the semester. As a matter of fact, there was one this afternoon, a student and faculty percussion,
Yeah, I
student and
saw that.
faculty uh, concert, and but we have concerts happening all the time, you know. Um, in terms of outside, even during the semester, students will get different little gigs, whether it's private or through UTT, through APA. At one time, we had a little agreement with Hilton, where students would go and perform, you know, for an hour or so. Different institutions, organizations would reach out to us and ask us if we have students who can do a performance or as simple as play the national anthem, you know. So the students do have little opportunities while they're going to school. When they graduate, that's a different, that's a little different. It all depends on the angle that they choose, you know. Some of our students, they go on to do masters, PhDs. Some don't really go forward, they do that degree and they teach in schools, they teach, you know, privately. Some move on to something other than music. You know, it all depends on what is available to them, you know, or what they might create for themselves, you know. So,
That's understandable. So
yeah.
one question, going back to the events, so the events are usually public, and if
Yeah.
so, how could the
Yeah.
public keep engaged with what's going on under APA?
We try to do some advertising on social media. Um, we also have a mailing list that we send out the flyers to, you know. Um, you know, it might augur well to to have our events advertised, maybe on the radio stations, I don't know, you know. But a lot of the times we hear people saying, how long this happening? We didn't know about this, you know. So maybe we should look into advertising a little further, you know.
Yes, and anywhere I could help, I'll definitely help with that.
All right.
Okay, so let's talk about Panorama now. So the first question with UTT Panorama, basically the question you say everybody asks, how long has this been happening? How long has UTT been having Panorama events?
We started this panorama in 2016, right? And it was started, I kind of came up with the concept, actually. At that time, I was working along with Dr. Leon Smooth Edwards,
Mm-hmm.
who is currently with, or he's still with us, and Mr. Desmond Weath, or Dr. Desmond Weath, I should say, deceased. You know, the three of us, we were carrying on an outreach program for UTT, and we started the panorama really to give the students an opportunity to practice what they've been learning, basically, you know. So that went on from 2016 until I want to say 2018, where the concept kind of changed in my mind, right? And the concept changed to one where we have to now get the students ready for the real world, right? So now my present team, again, Dr. Leon Smooth Edwards, Dr. Mia Gomez Benjamin, and recently joining us, Mr. DK Samai. So the four of us, we are leading this, we are carrying on the steel pan studio at the APA. But the concept for the panorama now is more of a situation where we're going to organize this in a way where we're getting the students ready for the real panorama, but with safety nets around. All right. Now, what we did, we have a studio. Well, the number in the studios changes from semester to semester, right? So I think this semester we have something almost 40 students in the studio, all right? So what we do, we divide those 40 students into four small ensembles, right? Each ensemble would have about 8 students and 2 percussionists, a drummer and a percussionist, all right? The ensemble is led by the students. So we actually give them a mandate. You sit, discuss with your group, and you all come up with a manager, an arranger, a transcriber, and maybe a rehearsal technician. Let's call him that. Let's call that person that, right? The reason for the managers is really to sort out any issues and to guide, to lead, right? My colleagues and I, we have no dealings with how they run their ensembles, right? They actually have to come up with these, well, make decisions, come up with ideas, run the ensemble effectively. If there's a problem within the ensemble, the manager leads the discussion. If there's a problem between the 4 ensembles, the 4 managers get together and discuss it. Only if they cannot come up with a solution or anything like that, a decision, then they come to us. right? Other than that, we don't run any of the ensembles, right? Um, with that, the arrangers do their thing, the secretaries do their thing, um, and of course, the arrangers have the opportunity to come and speak with us at any time for guidance, for help. They ask questions. We are there. Every so often, we would take a walk through, listen to the rehearsals. You always have to fix something in terms of the things that they're doing. But generally, they run a tight ship. They run a tight ship, and from year to year, it has gotten better. So what started happening because of the ensembles the practice in running an ensemble, arranging for an ensemble, these students are now going out into the communities and working with their bands in the communities. So we would have had students like Kirsch Ramsey, who would have won Panorama this year, medium category and small category. OJ Richards, who would have won a couple of years ago. Stefan West, and a few others. Names slipping me right now. But we have students as arrangers, we have students as drill masters, we have students as administrators in their bands. And of course, the students are all playing in different steel bands. So the practice that they're getting with guidance is actually working out to what we wanted it to do. So, thank God for that. And the most we can do at this point is try to make things a little better. Every time it comes around, make it a little better, and it works for the students. We are here for the students. So we are going to always be trying our best to make it a little better.
Okay, so I know that you said more or less you'll pick the ensembles, right? And then after that they decide who gets what position within the ensemble.
Right.
When you're judging, is there any consideration given for skill level? So a person who is an arranger, a first year student versus like a fourth year student, there's no. Okay.
You get thrown in deep blue sea. It's up to you to swim.
Okay, so how long do the students have to prepare for the event?
Well, like anything else, it is an assignment, but it's a semester-long assignment. So they start working on their arrangements at the beginning of the semester, with instructions and deadlines. So, for instance, we have midterms, and their midterm, where that is concerned, is what we would consider the preliminary round of the panorama, right? So at the end of the day, this is an accessible event, right? It has been assessed. This is their grade for the semester, right? So at the midterm level, my colleagues and I, we would sit and judge. We would do whatever, give them comments, give them marks, and that goes in the grade book. The comments will go to them so they would know how to fix and prepare for the final. Right? So when the final comes around, which is normally closer to the end of the semester, we then bring in judges. And the judges we would bring in would normally be current arrangers within the field. Right? So for instance, last year we had Mr. Duvon Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. BJ Marcel, Mr. Clarence Morris. I'm forgetting somebody. Well, what we try to do every year, we bring back one of our alum students as a judge. So last year, I think we had Mr. Stefan West with us.
Okay.
Right? I think I'm missing somebody. Duvon, BJ, Clarence. It's slipping me right now. But that's what we normally do. We bring in these arrangers and they would judge. Oh, Mr. Darren Shepherd.
Okay. So
the next person. All right, so we bring them in and they judge the competition for us.
So, what's the judging criteria? Is it similar to what you would see in our national panorama?
We started off using that the same judging system, everything. And last year, as a matter of fact, we realized how much of a, I don't want to say it's ineffective, but it was very hard to separate the ensembles. You know, we had ensembles, the points between ensembles are like 0.5 and 0.7 and 0.3 and those kind of things, you know. And for us, that is a problem because remember, this is still grades we're dealing with, you know. And what we did, we tried another system, right? And that system, which we call the rank system, it actually divided the groups, you know, cleanly. It was very effective. And as a matter of fact, we are having a roundtable discussion the day after the panorama to present this judging system and talk about, you know, the judging system basically, right? So we now use this rank system, which we think it's very effective. It gives us the information that we need for sure. The judges who worked with us last time, they kind of agreed and kind of liked the system, you know. So who knows? We'll discuss it and see where it goes.
Nice, and you'll have data to back it up, right? So it will be what, 2 years of data to back it up after once you'll start your roundtable.
Correct.
And in terms of judging criteria, the scores allotment, is it similar to what you'd see in National Panorama, or is it a bit different?
Yeah, it's similar.
Okay. All right. So in terms of arranging, students arranging, some of them, it may be their first time. Some of them, I assume it over the span of 4 years, they may have repeat arrangers for the different ensembles. What challenges do you see arrangers facing during the course of this program, and how do you help them resolve those issues?
Well, you know, starting for the first time is always a challenge for some people, or most people. You know, we've had the arranger students coming to us and talking about, you know, learning how to put the music together, because what happens when you first start to arrange, you hear all the music in the world in your head, and to you it sounds perfect. All right, I mean, I was there too. But when you put all the music in your head on the instruments, you have to remember we're dealing with human beings who now have to play this music. And sometimes it could be a bit much you know. So one of the challenges for students is knowing what to take and what to leave out, how to put all of this together. Voicing, how to put where to put music and how to put it, you know. Some of them have challenges running the ensemble because they don't have, they seem to believe that they don't have the full support of the ensemble, you know. So it's basically you commanding that respect, you commanding the attention, you know. And some of them would find it challenging. So they would come and they would sit and be like, sir, I can't do this, you know. And, you know, and I listen, and I sympathize. And then I give them, you know, try this or try that, you know, or do this, you know. And they will come back and say, it worked a little bit. So like, try it again, and you know, it's over a period of time, you know. So eventually they understand, well, hey, this is more than just putting some music on an instrument. You have to think a little further than just putting music down, you know. So I mean, it's our duty to really help the students along. As long as they have questions and they come to us, we answer. We try to help. We give them solutions. We give them, you know, suggestions. And over the time, you see them starting to get better and better and better, and their confidence starts building. And once their confidence gets up there, I think the approach gets better and better, and you know, it happens.
Okay, so in terms of technology, because of course, as the years go by and with the introduction of AI, you know, how much of technology they could rely on to arrange their songs?
They're not supposed to rely on any kind of technology.
Okay.
The only technology really is the software programs to write out the music. Other than that, they're not supposed to be using anything like AI or anything like that. It's supposed to come from their head and their hearts, you know. If they're doing things like that, I mean, it's not to their benefit, you know. So I'm hoping that they're not going that route, you know.
Yeah, I get it. I just threw that question out there. So in terms of the panorama itself, how long does the song how long does the song last? Well, how much
Right.
time is coming for a song?
So we've given them 6 minutes, and they can choose any tune within a 10-year span, 10 years from the current year. Right? They can go back 10 years. We give them a grace period of, I think it's 30 seconds, right? And most times they come hard. I mean, it's very competitive. You know, we hear these threats coming from the first semester. The panorama always happens in the second semester. So when students come in, you know, they come in talking about the panorama, and I will be in this ensemble, and we go beat all year. And, you know, it's very competitive, but I must say the students, they are very supportive of each other. Once they come in and they start mingling together, and, you know, they go to class together, they start supporting each other. And that's something that kind of makes us smile, you know, because, I mean, that's the first step to learning, right? Get them comfortable, get them understanding the support systems. We have them, if you see a student in the studio practicing a piece for their applied music sessions and they're having difficulty, go over and help them, you know, You might have played that piece already. Give them some advice, show them, if their hand position seems to be a little wrong or a little difficult, share a solution with them of something a little easier, a hand position a little easier, So we have them kind of thinking that way, helping and supporting each other. And that really works in our favor.
So they're not siloed where, in our panorama, a lot of us, well, the bands, because it's so competitive in nature, they don't like the music going out or whatever. Is it like that? Or they have the opportunity to hear each other's
Well, they
music
do
and
hear
songs
each
out?
other. They do
Yeah.
hear each other. Because, we don't have much space, really.
Mm-hmm.
The four ensembles, two of them rehearse in the steel pan room itself. We have a big, you ever been in there?
No. I've
Okay,
only been the one with the stage where the actual panel
no.
sunshine was out.
No, our room
That's all,
is
yeah.
above that room.
Okay.
It's basically, you can say about the same size. All right. So two of the ensembles rehearse in there. And then the other two go into two classrooms right outside the steel pan room. So, they from time to time, they would venture into each other's space. They would hear what's happening. So they know what's coming, But, that's part of it. That's part of it.
Got it. So I think I interviewed a couple of your students who arrange for junior bands. Were there many students who arrange for junior bands in the current program?
We had a few of them who would have arranged for junior bands. I can't call off the top of my head, but we have them working with. They go out and they look.
I think Imani was one of them, right? From
Kimani.
Panasonic?
No, we have two Kimanis.
From
Kimani,
Panasonic.
right? Kimani McPhee, right?
Right.
So he would work with junior bands. We have Kimani Sandy, who works with a small band in Tobago,
Oh,
right?
okay.
We have other students who
All right.
would, McKeem, I think, worked with
Yeah.
St.
St.
Francois.
Francois.
We have a couple of others who would have worked with different little junior bands around. But they're trying. They're trying. They're really trying, and they're going out there and they're doing their thing, and they're doing all right. They're doing all right.
Most definitely. Yeah. So my last question for you is: are there any practices that you'll try to nip in the bud that, bad practices you would see out in the field, especially since I guess traditionally, well, I wouldn't make this blanket statement, but you have the varying skills for arrangement, and introduction to arranging varies as well. Not everybody went to school or whatever, but is there any bad habits that you would probably see in the industry that you try to nip in the bud in this program that would make it a better experience for these players
Well,
or arrangers?
we are going to see the bad habits coming in, right? And that's something you really cannot stop at the gates. So what we do when they come in, we kind of show them where things has to be different. First of all, this is not the Panyard per se. This is tertiary level education. So you have to start thinking like that. All right. Your mindset has to be different. You are actually coming here to better your skills, not just in playing, but in communication, in interaction. You're coming here to be a professional. So your whole mindset has to be within that scope of being a professional, So we talk with them all the time. We try to bring in professionals to speak with them, to show them different ways. And it works. It works a bit. We get them to start thinking a little differently. by year 4, they understand. They understand, and they really go out there and they try to do what they need to do in a proper and professional manner. It may not always work in their favor, but having their mindset and always kind of reproducing more of them coming out with that same mindset, eventually it will make a change.
Nice. And just to remind everybody, or to let everybody, people who do not know about UTT Panorama, could you please tell us when it will occur, how much it costs, and the time and everything?
The Panorama this year will be on April 11th at the Napa campus, APA, Theater 1. It starts at 6 p.m. I think it's $100 to come in. No cash. No cash. We can't accept cash. So it has to be bank cards, right? We have the card machine. So yeah, come and support the students, see what they're doing. Also, well, I'm sure you and I will have another conversation about Pan Ascension coming next semester. So we'll talk about that at that time. But yeah, we have our events happening there. We'll have another conversation about advertising events for the APA on your channel. So I mean, we here doing what we need to do, and we'd love to share it with the public. Let the public see what is happening at the APA. We have some remarkable lecturers. We're all led by Dr. Roger Henry. Come and check us out. We'll talk.
Yeah, so let me just see if anyone has any questions from the audience. You do get a big up from, I don't see the name, but someone from Vinci. He says, big up Seion, hailing from Vinci. On this software, I cannot see the name of.
I did some work in St. Vincent with San Helene
Kane, and then Kane, what's his name?
Kane. Septimus Kane.
Correct.
Yeah. Big up, Septi. Big up.
And I did see All Things Pan. I don't know if you're familiar with Danielle from All Things Pan. She has a podcast as well. And she said the ranking system makes sense. It gets away from what Seion said, the 0.5 and the 0.3 points.
Ties and the, yeah.
You're welcome, Ingrid. Ingrid said, thank you for the interview. Very good information. Mike said, I hope they charge people for the panorama for the draft next year. Mike, that's a different story. We're discussing UTT Panorama tonight. Does anyone have any questions? I will give you a minute again to type. If not, let's see on go. Have you guys thought of having an arranger seminar?
Yes, we have. We've had conversations of doing it. We had conversation of doing a judges seminar also. But with all these things, it's time. So we just need to kind of lock down a time to get these things done, But it's in the making.
Cool. I mean, I think I had a question. And so I know this panorama is focused on Soca. Is there any other arrangement opportunities for students outside of Soca?
Well, the Pan Ascension is the same process.
So the students.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was the students behind that.
That's not Calypso. Not Calypso or Soca. That's more, pop, classical, jazz, whatever, So we try to get them across all genres.
Nice. So we do have a question from Randy. S. Kevin. His question is, why is modern pan music for Panorama so tuneless?
So what?
Tuneless.
Tuneless.
Yeah. I should have read that question before I ask. I don't know how you could answer that question.
I don't know. I really can't answer the question, but I don't understand what he's trying to ask.
Okay. Okay, so I guess it's an opinion. Other than that, are there any questions that Seion can answer? I'll give maybe a minute again. So, so what are the social media platforms for? Is it APA? So when people are looking for this information, are they looking for UTT in general, APA, or either or?
We have an Instagram account. I think the APA has one. The Steel Pan Studio recently started one. So we are going to start pushing out stuff on our Instagram page. And the other would be Facebook. APA has, I think, a Facebook feed. And then we have Corpcom, so we that's how we advertise basically, So maybe
do you have those handles offhand, or
no, I don't have.
Would it be something that I'll get from you?
Share it with you, and you can probably get it out for us.
Okay. So Ingrid has an opinion. It sounds like time to change from paper judging. Should it be done electronically?
But that will be a discussion with Pancho Bigo.
How is it done for UTT? Is it paper or is it electronic?
Paper.
Paper-based?
Paper.
All right. Okay, so if no one else has any questions, again, thank you so much, Seion, for letting us know about the UTT Panorama. You enlightened me because I had an idea of what it was, but all the details.
Oh, I forgot to mention, just if you permit me.
Sure.
This year we were trying to include other universities, right? We only have one other ensemble from the outside, which would be the MIC Institute of Technology, their steel ensemble. They will be a part of the Panorama competition this year with us. So beside our 4 ensembles, we will have MIC as the 5th participating for the first time.
Hopefully, okay, and MIC is a local tertiary level education, right?
So hopefully in the near future we'll have all the other tertiary level education institutions being a part of our Panorama. That's the goal. That's the goal.
How many are there? Because that focus on steel pan.
We have UTT, we have UE, you have USC.
That is is that this USC is that what used to be the Seventh-day Adventist tertiary level?
Yes. All right. What's the other? Oh Lord, I can't remember the other one. But we're trying. We're trying to make it something a little bigger with some benefits, So we'll see how it goes from here on.
Yeah. So thanks again. So on April 11th at UTT, 6 p.m., $100, no cash, cards only for entry. UTT Panorama, 5 bands, 4 of the bands from UTT itself, 1 band from MIC. Right,
Correct.
those are details for UTT Panorama. I will be sharing any additional information that I may have, any flyers. So please look out for it. Please support the students. You know, these are our future arrangers or future players. So thanks again, Seion.
Thank you for
And thanks
having me.
everybody. You're welcome. And thanks everybody on the stream for joining. And hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Okay, then. Bye.